Hey guys, how's it going? Back on the project today. This is the adapter plate to fit the lathe chuck on the rotary table. What I've got is a piece of 3/4 inch tool steel there, 4340, and I got my center alignment hole punched through, an 1.25 inch diameter, and I've got my bolt down holes put through that. Those 4 holes are going to be what mounts it to the rotary table itself. And what I got to do now is I got to put 3 other holes in it to mount the lathe chuck onto it. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take, you can see the start of one hole right there. I haven't drilled it all the way through yet. What I'm going to do is put 2 other holes in there, and those are rotated about 30 degrees off a plane from the 4 mounting holes. And those 3 holes, instead of just bolting the chuck down to it and taking the dogs out of the back of my chuck, I'm going to use those dogs and these dogs right here. I'm going to go ahead and use these, and I'm going to put a 5/8 hole down through that adapter plate. And I also got myself some aluminum stock right here, and I'm going to cut these in half. I'm going to mill them up flat square, and I'm going to put myself some 5/8 holes in them as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, put my, get a better piece here, put a 5/8 hole, and I'm going to have 2 mounting holes right here, about like that. And I'm going to take them holes. These are going to mount down to the adapter plate, and the lathe pins, the dogs, are going to go down through here. So all I'm going to do is come down through the side here with another hole, and I'm going to make myself a some 3 cam locking pins. They're going to come in here. You have a cap head screw down on the side here. Come in this way. Drive dog sit down in like that. Locking cam pin like that. And get your Allen head in there. Twist that like you would when you're putting the chuck on the lathe. Lock them pins into place. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to be able to take the chuck and either use it on the rotary table or pop it off and put it back on the lathe. Now I don't want to have to screw around with taking and popping pins and doing this and doing that, and I don't have another 3-jaw lathe chuck at the time right now. I'm going to be getting one pretty soon, but even at that, with that being said, I still want to be able to move these back and forth without having to mess around so much. So I'm doing right now, I'm going to punch them holes through. Once I get them through there, I'm going to go ahead, come over, I'm going to put 1, 2 mounting holes, and I'm going to drill and tap them. And I'm going to do the same for each one of these. And when I'm done with that, I'll pop that plate out, go ahead and mill up, drill, tap those little aluminum blocks. Now I'll get them set up, and I'll get them mounted on here, and then I'm going to jump over on the lathe and make my pins. And then at that point, I can go ahead and start putting 2 pieces together. So see you back in a little bit. Guys, I brought you back real quick, show you what I'm doing here. Got my 5/8 hole drilled down through, and I moved over 673 thousandths, and I'm putting 2 1/4 tapped holes down through, and those are going to be my 2 mounting holes. So I just figured I'd give you a little peek at that. And go ahead and hand tap these. I'm not going to power tap them. It's a 1/4 and 4340 is pretty rugged stuff. So at this point, I don't want to snap the tap off in the part and have to go ahead and screw around with all that BS. So I'm running them down in there by hand. I'm using drill chuck. I got a little countersink. I don't have an actual spring center to put in there, but this will work just fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and run those 2 down through, get the other one drilled and tapped, and I'll give you a view of the two of them when I get them done. So I decided I'd give you a little bit of a view here as to what I'm doing. Just finishing up, getting going on this last hole, and bring you along so you can check it out. Chamfer on that hole so we can go ahead and get a good start for the tap. I might just go ahead on this one against my better judgment. Go ahead and give her a shot at power tapping. A little bit of the Molly D on there is good stuff right here. And let's see what we get. Speed, low range, doing 60 RPM here. Worries me a little bit right there. Go ahead and see what we got. Put my tap handle back on. Alright, so we're safe. You add a little shot of air, clean some of the chips. Get a little more lube there, and I got my hole started, so I don't need a center or nothing like that. I'm just going to get it thread back in. Alright. I'll go ahead and finish this hole. Such a small tap. I realize that 1/4 is not that small, but small enough that when I'm going through tool steel, I don't want to go ahead and overload the thing, try to wind it all the way down through in one shot. I'd rather back it off, break my chip. No, I'm not going to snap it. Which is why on small taps, I'm not real big on power tapping. You get a few hours into a piece and you get bust the tap off in there, and then you get to sit and screw with it, try to get it out, hope you can get it out. On a through hole, you usually can, but a blind hole, well, that's a whole nother fun process. So, here we go with this. Got my hole down through. Pull them chips out. And, there we go. With my 2/4 20 mounting holes, and I got my 5/8 pinhole right there. And that block, that aluminum is going to sit right there. I'm going to fasten that. My pin's going to be, it's not going to protrude the whole way, but it's going to go down into this 5/8. And my, as an example, my cam pin is going to come through sideways like that. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that, clockwise, and that'll cam up against the chuck dog and go ahead and pull that in there. Now I got to do two more of them on here and get them get them set up to get my mounting blocks on, and you know, we'll move on from there. So I'll bring you back in a little bit. So I made a little bit of a change in what I'm going to do, and that is that I decided to go ahead and add myself in a roll pin to help keep those mounting blocks located. You know, 2 fasteners, 1 pin, help keep the mounting block located, and that way there when I go ahead and tighten down my cam screw on the lathe pin dog there, I'm not going to want to go ahead and pull that block to one side or the other, or in or out. You know, so we're going to bring you in on that for a minute there. I believe that's a what is that? That's a 5/32 pin, and I got to drill a number 20 hole down in there. Give me 161 thou hole diameter. It calls for about, machinist handbook, you look in there, and it's calling for about a 160 thou hole size that pin to fit in. So I'm going to be about 1,000th big. I'm not too worried about that. It'll be 1/2 thou per side hole. You know, this isn't an aerospace part. I don't need to hold crazy tolerances on that thing like that down into the tenths. I just needed to keep that block from walking around, and that's going to work just fine. So I'll show you drilling hole. Good, throw a little chamfer on there. And there we go. There's my roll pin hole. I could use a dowel pin if I wanted. You can use either or, it don't really matter to me. This isn't going to be a part that's got to be taken on and off unless something breaks and I got to rip it down and try to fix it. But pin's going to go right in there. Going to hold that block in alignment, tighten up for what I'm doing with this piece, and should be plenty adequate. So there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and get a good chamfer on this 5/8 hole right here, and I'm going to jump up and I'm going to start doing my other 2. And I'll bring you back in a few minutes here when I jump up and I go ahead and I get these going. I'll show you some of these, some of the work on these ones too. grind on that thing. It's cotton, so I'm not too worried about it, but I didn't like the way it started in there. Kind of jumped around and wanted to take a great big fight on one side. I don't care for that. I snapped my bit off and it's up. So, it's working. So this is my oil bottle here. This is nothing special. I had an old parts cleaner, old parts washer, and some years back I had filled the parts washer up, and I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on fluid, you know, from Safety Clean or whatever it may be. I didn't feel like doing it. So what I did is I went out, got myself 10 gallons of kerosene, and I use that. But now I don't want the kerosene in there because it's highly flammable, and I don't care for that very much. So I've got that thing emptied out, and I took the kerosene, and I'm using the kerosene with some light cutting oil in the spray bottle here. I got a mixture. I got a gallon jug that I mixed kerosene and about a half a quart of cutting fluid with. I just shook it up. Now I'm using this squirt bottle here, the spray bottle. It works great. It's it's almost free, and I got gallons of the stuff. So, and you guys out there looking for a alternative to using different coolant, cutting fluids or whatever it is when you're drilling, and you know, if you're turning on your lathe and this and that, there's an idea for you. Of course, if I'm tapping, I use this here. I use this Castrol Moly D. This is wicked good stuff, but it's expensive. This pint right here is a 16 ounce. This thing cost me about $24. So I use that sparingly, but that is good stuff. All right. So, anyways, I got my 5/8 hole in there. I just jumped off center, and I'm going to come back on so I can move over and put my 1/4-20s in my roll pin hole in there. So I'll go ahead and feed back. Oop, overshot it. I'm back on my mark. I'm back on the center of my 5/8 hole, and I'm going to go ahead and jump over. I'm going to put my 2 1/4-20s in, and then I'm going to sink a number 20 hole in there for the roll pin. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on hold a minute while I kind of clean up a little bit of a mess here and gather some tools and this and that. So I'll bring you back in a minute. Alright, so get you back. Went ahead, came over, got back in the center of my hole. I threw this chamfer on there, just cleaned it up good, clean the edge, break the edge. And I'm back on getting on the location to put my tapped holes in here. So all I did is from center, I moved over 5/16, got the edge of the hole, and moved over another 3/8, and that's where the first drilled and tapped hole is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and push that one through. Cutting pretty nice. It's my number 7. I just put a nice new grind on that thing before I started this up. So cutting pretty decent. Dulling up a little bit. It's still pretty rugged and tough stuff. Get the job done. All right. So here we go. There's my number 7, and I need to put some threads in there, so I'm gonna just leave it where it is. Go ahead and drop the table, and before I go any farther, I had to put a chamfer in that thing. if I got enough reach. No, drop table too much. Usually think of that first, but alright, there we go. Get a good start on that. So my tap fluid here. You don't need much of this stuff. Works pretty good. Got a bunch of moly in it and all kinds of other minerals. Good for high pressure situations. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my chamfering tool here as a starter. So there we go. You know, I got some threads cut in there. I get it started. I know I'm straight. I realize that's a square hole in my tapping handle here, and I'm using a chamfering tool. None of this is really ideal. It's not what you'd call doing it exactly the right way. There we go. I'm all the way through it. I didn't give it a couple last turns. So there we go. Nice and clean, nice and smooth. Cut just what I wanted it to. Let me get that chamfering tool out of there. There we go. Everything's intact. Hold straight. There you have it. So, as you know, said before, gotta put one more over here. I'm gonna put a number 20 hole right there for my roll pin, and I'm gonna put you on hold for a minute here, and I'm gonna look at my dimensions, make sure I'm right. You know, and the amount that I move over here, they'll all be the same. I don't want to be, you know, having different amounts. And I go ahead and make my mounting blocks, and I make my mounting blocks, and you know, one of them's off. So double check that. Bring it back just a second. All right, we're back here. Got my numbers, got my figures. Looked at my paper there. Center distance on my tapped holes, 1/2 inch. All right, and once I'm done with that, I'm going to come right back into the center distance between the two. I'm going to come back 250, and then I'm going to move over another 250, and that'll be where I put my number 20 drilled hole there. So go ahead and get my pop face in there, back in high range, and get it started. So there we go. We got number 7 in there. I'm going to run that through. All right. So there's a hole. Give her a little chamfer. tapper in the low. See if I can come down that far. Yep. Alright. So there we go. Get my chamfer. Good. Get some Molly D going here. Alright. Set that there. Once again, not too concerned with the mismatch and kind of basically incorrect way of doing this. I realize that, and I also don't care. This is for me. This is my project. And all I need to do is get a start on this hole. I'm keeping light downward pressure on the quill with my handle. Alright. So there. Come back out a little bit. Break my chip. And there we go. My tap started. So, go ahead and keep going with her. This little tap handle, I got a few of these. This is an oldie here. Somebody made this. I don't know who. Wasn't me. We got a store. We got, well, store. I wouldn't really call it a store. It's kind of a salvage tool reselling business. The gentleman that owns this place, he's actually from my hometown. But anyways, he's got two of them. He's got one in the town of Liberty, and he's got another one in Seal Cove. And what he does is he goes out and he buys up estates. You know, you get different houses that the contents need to be gotten rid of for whatever reason, and he goes in, you know, puts his bids in. Sometimes he get them, sometimes he doesn't, whatever, I don't know. But he buys up those contents, and really what he's focusing in on is the tools. So he'll buy the entire lot of tools, whatever it may be, and then he'll get it, go through it all, kind of like auction wars you see on TV. These guys, they bid in the unit, they get all the crap inside, and what's junk's junk, what's good's good. So they, same deal. And he does this, and he takes all the tools, all the equipment, you know, and whatever else it might be, furniture and this and that. And he gets all that stuff, and he's got his 2 locations, and he takes and he goes through all the tools, cleans them up, and he puts them in his 2 stores there, and he sells them. And, you know, it's not all great, spectacular stuff, and it's not all junk either. Sometimes you get some top quality stuff, or actually a lot of times you do. He's got a bunch of Starrett, Brown and Sharp, Minotauro, you know, you get SPI, you get PEC, all the stuff. And a lot of it is super, super old. Some of it's not that old, some of it's new. And what he does, he cleans it up, oils it, gets it all reworking, whatever it may be. Reconditions this stuff, he throws it in the stores, he sells it. You know, this tap handle right here, I got this tap handle for 90 cents. You know, and this is a good tool. Somebody made this thing. I don't know what kind of steel it is. You know, it might just be mild, it might just be 1018, whatever it is. But they turn these handles, they put the knurls on, threaded it, cut the 45s inside to hold your tab the whole night. You know, this thing works great. I've been using this a long time. But, you know, I've gotten all kinds of other stuff. I've got a, well, I'll show you right here. This is one example of just recently one of the things I got there. This is a Starrett inside mic set. I believe it's a 0 to 12, and this is the box it came in. You know, and still in the case, and you know, take a look at that. That's a full set, untouched, brand new stuff. Inside mics, 0 to 12. I don't even think it's ever been used. And, you know, I was curious as to see whether there was a piece missing here. I don't believe there is. I got online and looked and found this same it's perfect. And there you can see that's the price on that, 32 bucks. That's what I paid for this set. So that's an example of the kind of stuff you can get at this guy's place. And you know, it's wicked cool. If you're a machinist, you're a mechanic, you're a collector, whatever it may be, this guy's two shops are just absolutely a dream. And one of them's Liberty Tool, and the other one's the Tool Barn. I think you can jump online and check them out too. So a little bit off subject there, but or I should say off the job, but that's where I get a lot of my stuff. Okay, so anyways, here we go. You know, we got our 2 quarter 20s. I'm on center with this hole here. I'm going to come back 250. I'm going to come over 250. I'm going to put my 160 number 20 drill hole down in there. So bring you back in a minute and we'll check that out. Alright, so here we go. We're on location. 250 up, center distance between these two holes on 250 over, and that's where my pinhole is going to go. Let's get back in the high range. Make sure we're engaged. And let's do it. And the spot face. Camera number 20. Let's put her through. All right, number 20 hole down through. Go ahead and hit that with a chamfer, break the edge, range. Nice good chamfer on there so my pin doesn't give me a hard time starting down in that hole. So there we go. We got our lathe pin, dog hole, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm just, you know, this is my design. I'm kind of making this up as I go. I don't really have a print or nothing like that. I just drew some stuff up on paper because I don't believe one of these things exists out there, but if it does, then it does. You know, so there we have it. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back on the center of my hole here, and I'm going to move up and I'm going to move over so I can put in my other 5/8 hole in this plate. So there we go. Sort around 0 there. Or 0 there, right? Okay, there we are, right in the center of our hole. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to move up or back, whichever way you want to look at it. My spot face in. I've got one in it, but I want to make sure that I'm still on location. So give her a look. And there we go. We're right on. We're on target. Right back onto the original spot face hole that I put in there. I know where I need to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop my table right down as far as I can go, because once I get up to the bigger bits, I can't get them in there. But there's a 3/8 right here, and we'll go ahead and stick that through. So there we go. 3/8 through there. You peel the curly cues off my shirt. And I'm going to jump up to a half. I'm going to drop our speed. Punch down through there. Now this 1/2 inch, get a good grind on. I just put that on there. It's hungry too. I don't need hardly any downforce on the quill to get this thing to dig in and take a nice chip. This thing is just chewing into the metal. There we go, we're through. Another curly cue on my shirt. So, see if I can get this thing in the... That's the grind on my bit. It's nice and sharp. You know, I don't have a bit grinder here. I grind all my bits by hand, and you know, I've got quite a number of years of practice of doing these drill bits by hand, and I can usually get them to come out pretty good. Every once in a while I get a funky one, I got to go back and hit it again, but I usually work them up pretty good. So there's that. Now I got to go ahead and move over because I can't fit my 5/8 bit in the chuck with the table sitting where it is. So there we go. I'm going to get my drill in, and I'll come back to inch 398. There we have it. Lock my cross feed, or my X and Y there. Let's see if we can get through it. I don't like the grind on this bit. It's not quite. I didn't grind these. I bought a set. Silver and Deming bits. Didn't pay top dollar for them because I just don't see the need to go out and spend a few $100 on a set of high-speed steel bits. Go ahead and move over. Alright. So yeah, anyways, 5/8 bit. It's high-speed steel, just like all the other bits you get. You know, some companies out there, the real cheapy Chinese ones, they'll make a real junky bit. You know, the high-speed steel, I don't know what they make it out of. You know, it's real low-grade stuff. You know, most of the time you get like an M2 steel. It's a molybdenum. Not base, but you know, it's got a bunch of molybdenum in the steel, which is real good for hardening up carbon-based steels. It's a good alloy. It makes it tough and rugged, kind of impact resistant, stuff like that. And that's what these are. These are just M2 high-speed steel. One of my pins right here. Okay, so I just need that pin to slide into the hole, and that's what it does. It does that nicely. Of course, it won't go all the way through because I got a burr on the bottom side of the hole there, which I'll clean that up later on. That's no big deal. But there it is. You know, gonna be perfectly fine. Matter of fact, this pin isn't going to go all the way into the hole. It's going to be setting up here, something like this, because as you can see, right there, that's where my cam bolt is going to grab on and lock this thing into place. So she's only going to go in there about that far, you know. Go ahead and put my drilled tapped holes and my number 20 hole in there, and we'll keep on going. So here we go. We've got a chamfer on this 5/8 hole. I got my spot face drill back in there, and I'm going to go ahead and start working in these drilled tapped holes here. Alright, so back at it. Got my spout face in there, and over here on location, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to spout face drill this. We're going to put our number 7 drill through, we're going to tap it, and we're going to keep moving on with getting our holes put through. Number 7 through. Alright. Low range. Knee up a little bit. And cranking. There we go. Tap, get our little 1/4 here. Lube her up. Alright. That thing set in there. Use my chamfering tool here. Works absolutely fine. You know, I mean, there's no movement side to side that's going to go ahead and throw this tap off center. I'm not going to be tapping crooked, and I'm not going to be tapping off location. You know, it's not a concern or a worry of mine right now at all. And it's going ahead and using this to get it started in there anyways. You know, so, I mean, there it is. I got it started. Back up, break my chip, and I'm going to continue on. And there we go. So, now I got a 1/2 inch from hole center to center. So, I'm going to go ahead and move over my 1/2 inch distance. Oop. Alright. Spot face, high range. Number 7. Oh, get it in there on the center. Alright, run through. Pull chips off my shirt. Shirt likes to hang on to one of them like a starter or athletic shirt or something like that. Sticky material, chips and things, I like to stick into it. So I wear them to the shop because, you know, it gets hot in here once in a while and these things breathe real good. This is an old piece of junk, and I'm gonna wreck it anyways. Why not wear some piece of junk to the shop? So anyways, I get the chamfering tool back in. Go in the low range. Alright. Clean off the tap here. A little squirt of the tapping fluid. I don't know why I took chamfering tool and I do it all the time. You get going doing stuff and you just kind of, you're in a zone and you forget about little things like that, you know. I don't know, whatever. But anyways, here we go, getting this thing started. You know, there we go. I got it started. So straight. Break my chip. Go back in here and start getting this thing threaded all the way through. And there we go. We're all the way through it. All right. So there, it's nice and smooth. Back her out. Okay. Blow them chips out of there. All right. So there's that. I got that hole drilled tap. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to come back in to the center of these two, and I'm going to move back up over. So I'm going to come back 250. I'm going to come up 250. So it's going to be, I'm sitting at 210, so that's going to be 460. All right. Now I'm going to throw that in there, and I'm just putting that in there because I want to look at it. I want to bring my quill down, and I'm going to use that as a reference. All right. So I'm looking at that. I'm sitting there. I'm right in the middle of these two. I know I'm on. So now I'm going to come 250 this way, and that'll put me on location to get my roll pin put in there. So here we go. Back in high range. Spot face. And number 20 drill. Go through, all the way through, and give her a little chamfer there. All right, so The adapter plate itself is made. Of course, I'll go in there and I'm going to do a little more deburring on the backside and all this and that. But the plate, bolt down to the rotary table, and now I've got my three-hole bolt circle here for the chuck pins, and of course for the mounting blocks as well. So now I'm going to pop this out. I got to turn my vise back straight, tram my jaws in, get it lined back up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use aluminum to make these blocks. Some 60-61, nothing spectacular, doesn't need to be. I'm going to go ahead and get them blocks in the vise. I'm going to mill them up. I'm going to mill them up, make sure they're square, all that, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these same hole features into the 3 aluminum blocks. And then those blocks are going to fasten right on here. You're going to have a hole down through like that, and I'm going to have a, well, actually this, on this particular side, I'm going to have a drilled tap hole coming through that's kind of bored, and I'm going to go ahead and make myself 3 cam pins that come in here, and they'll cam up against them lathe chuck. Sorry about that, my camera battery's dying. I'll throw her on charge and we'll get you back in a bit. But anyways, I just gave you the description of what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut the camera down and charge it up for a little bit. Keep working, and I'll bring you back, show you what's going on. To finish up this video, I guess, I'm in my car right now. I had to leave the shop. I had to go take off, go do something else. But I figured I'd give an ending to the video. I'm just holding the camera right now with my hands. So yeah, I'm gonna get back on that adapter plate and make the mounting blocks to go on there and hold those pins in place. And what I did off camera that you know, that I didn't record was I made the alignment pin to go through all 3 parts. So maybe we can get you some of that, and we'll see how it goes. So wait till next video. Thanks guys. See ya.